Well, hey everybody, it's Sandy and welcome back to my channel dedicated to helping you advocate for your own health one topic at a time. I finally have that Aropec review to give you today, guys. I'm so excited about it. This one was a little bit hard for me to do just because this is a joint venture between a couple of different companies. And it just turned out that the answers to my questions had to be gotten in different places and I had to find different people and things like that. So anyway, here I am and I'm really happy to be here. I just want to say thank you so much and welcome. I see that I've got some new subscribers and I so appreciate you guys sharing the content. I'm so happy that people are interested in the content. For those of you who don't know, I don't do any affiliate links on my channel because I really want to be unbiased and I want to be trustworthy. So there's really no way forward for me without growing the channel. So that said, please keep on sharing the content because of course I'd love to grow my channel. Anyway, and you can also follow Sandy's DIY Health Advocacy on Facebook. So onto the Aropec mask. So this, like I said, this mask is a joint venture between two different companies. So the retailer is Craft Cadence, and Craft Cadence reached out to me and asked if they could send me a couple of these masks for some feedback. And Craft Cadence, I'm going to link their website down below. Again, that's not an affiliate link. It's just to take you to the retailer. I'm going to talk more about them and the pricing and things like that in just a little bit. The other company is Polygiene, and Polygiene is in the business of making all different high-tech antimicrobial textiles or anti-odor textiles. So for example, some things that are applicable to sportswear for reducing odors and things like that. In this particular product, in the Aropec mask, they use Polygene's ViralOff. So that is a brand that is for treatment of a textile to reduce the viral load on a textile by 99% in 2 hours. This started back at the time of the SARS pandemic several years ago. So that was the genesis really of ViralOff. So it's been tested with influenza virus, SARS virus, I believe hepatitis. Now, it has not yet been tested with COVID-19, although the folks at Polygene tell me that they are getting ready to do that shortly. So I'll be interested in to see what they get in the way of results. They're not expecting it to be really anything that new or interesting. And, maybe a few months ago, I would have been more skeptical of that. But now that like we've seen on my channel, some of these high-tech textile masks like kind of grow with my channel, I've found that, just what they say they predict is going to happen is what happened, say, with Synovia and Argamon and other masks, which is that they were able to test on other viral organisms, got a certain result, and then were able to test with the COVID finally, and really got the same result, very little difference. So I would be surprised if they find anything different, but I'm nonetheless looking forward to hearing what they have to say after they get to test it with COVID. Now, the technology uses silver ions. So the first thing I thought of is, okay, yeah, silver is profoundly antimicrobial. For those of you who don't know, we do have dressings in the operating room, like gauze impregnated with silver on it. If you ever had a really bad burn, you might have been given Silvadene cream, which has silver in it. But silver can be dangerous if ingested, so I wondered, is this a silver nanoparticle? And the people at Polygene told me, no, it is not a nanoparticle, so it's not one of those tiny little particles, and you wouldn't be able to dislodge silver ion out of this fabric simply by the force of breathing. I will believe them, but I will also say that since this is a product that is made where the ViralOff is added toward the end of the processing of the textile, I also would be meticulous about not using the product past its stated lifespan. So with this one, I'm going to get to the washing instructions and be a little more thorough with that later, but it's 50 washes, and I would keep a tally of that. So with some of my masks that have a certain number of wash as the lifespan, which I actually prefer over a certain number of days, because like that gives you the sense of like, how do you know it's still working if it's a certain number of days? Like what if it sat in a drawer for a few days? But this one says 50 washes. So I keep those I'll keep it in a plastic bag by itself, and I'll keep a little like a sticky note in there, and I'll just tally how many times I've washed it. So I'm going to keep track on this one. I am still keeping track on things like the Starks for their water resistance. For those of you who've been watching my channel, Starks, by the way, I'm up to 9 washes, and Space Mask as well, and they're both still water resistant. That's an aside. That's a tangent. Anyway, so yeah, the processing is done at the final stage. So I would make sure that I really do keep track that I'm using this up to 50 washes. Now, Craft Cadence, as I said, is the retailer. They're the ones that reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to take a look at this product. Craft Cadence's website offers two sizes of the Aropec mask. So it's a child size, which I did not receive, and the adult size. I actually received two of the adult size. So I guess it's a one size fits all, one size fits most. I will wait and hear from you guys if anybody buys this about your feedback. I know with Synovia, there was some people felt like some of the larger sizing wasn't generous enough. So I'll wait and hear from you. I feel like this is a generous size, but I have like a small face. It only comes in black and it only comes with ear loops. Now, the price is defaulted to British pound sterling on their website. So the price today, it says $12.49 in pounds, but there is a little toggle. So for those of you in the United States, you can toggle over to US dollars. And of course, that depends on the exchange rate. But today when I toggled to US dollars, I saw that it was $16.26. Actually, when I had Google do the conversion, I got like it should have been more expensive. So I'm not really sure how often they convert this. But when you're buying it toggled into dollars, they're giving you a price in dollars. So there's not going to be any kind of further conversion. So this might work in your favor. I don't know how often they update. Europe and within the UK was pretty reasonable for shipping, and it was like 2 to 5 days. And I don't remember. It was like under £5 British shipping all in Great Britain, and in Europe it kind of depended. I think I picked a country. I think I picked Austria just as an example. You can toggle over all these different countries and see what it's going to cost, but it was like £8 for standard, and that was like 3 to 5 days to get it, or yeah, 3 to 5 days would be an express, and £8 would be like 1 to 2 weeks. I think within Great Britain it was just a few days, but guys, get ready. For the United States, whew, they use DHL shipping. DHL regular, which takes, they say, about 3 weeks, they charge $13.02 to ship. And if you want it express, which they say takes 1 to 2 weeks, and that is $39.95, and that's just for the shipping, guys. So if you think that you want to order some of these to be, shipped to the United States, I would definitely think very carefully about how many you need so that you only do it once. And you only pay that shipping once, because the shipping is a flat fee regardless of how many you've bought, okay? But the shipping to the United States is definitely not in the plus column here. The mask is made up of 3 layers, so let me show you it. So yeah, it comes like this. I have one that I've been wearing, and then this is one like right out of the package, so I could show you. This is how it comes, and I'm going to go over that in a minute. But the inside is moisture wicking. It is a very soft cotton, okay, and it's your very standard. I mean, I guess I can show you. I've got my water bottle here. I guess I can show you how it's. Hope you can see that. Whoops, I don't have any water in there. Hope you can see that on camera. It sinks right in. Then they have a layer in the middle of polypropylene. So this is one of those hybrid masks, okay, where it's not only the technology, which is on the outside, and I'm going to get to that in a moment, but it also has some sort of filtration to physically block. And plus it actually has the water resistance on the outside as well. But the inside, it says a non-woven fabric. I did check with them. It is polypropylene. They say they haven't tested their polypropylene, but to my mind, polypropylene already is so far above and beyond any other fabric that could be in there. For those of you who haven't seen my videos, I did one on like what to look for in fabric masks, and I went into a discussion about the World Health Organization assigns something called a Q value to all different fabrics that could be used on an inner layer, and polypropylene performs above and beyond everything else available with a Q value of like 17. The next highest is something like 7 or 8, if I remember correctly. So I felt like the fact that there's polypropylene in here at all, they said it is a polypropylene similar to a surgical mask, so that would still filter or catch, I should say, 60 to 80% of even tiny little particles that are small enough to get through pores for filtration. Yeah, so I didn't really feel like I needed to get any more information on the polypropylene that they didn't have anyway, but they did tell me that they are looking at, for their next generation, upgrading it to a polypropylene that would be comparable to, here come the air quotes, guys, an N95. Okay, for those of you who've watched me for a while, you know how I feel about that. So they say they want to use maybe a polypropylene in that next generation that's going to filter 95% of particles 0.3 microns and higher. I think that'd be great. It'd be fine. Go ahead and put that in there if people want it. But the thing is, you can't really compare that to an N95 because a big part of how the mask performs once you get into very small filters like that and filtering very small particles, the one factor that determines its performance more than anything else is actually the fit of the mask, which is why an N95 is completely sealed down to the face. And these are masks, not respirators. These are not going to be sealed. So for every little particle size smaller that you get that filter, you're actually forcing more leak around the mask rather than through it, guys. Nobody knows where the sweet spot is, but I guess I'm kind of lukewarm on them making that change. I could go either way, just because you're gonna create a little more leak that way, and it's not gonna make it really like an N95, in my opinion. They did say that they are going to base that decision on consumer demand. So if this is something that's important to you and you want to reach out to Craft Cadence and let them know that, I think that would help. They say that if they do it, they'll roll it out in the next couple of months. But of course, that is going to take a certain amount of expense for the R&D of that product. And they're going to make sure that it's driven by a consumer demand. So talk amongst yourselves. Finally, the outer layer is the Polygiene ViralOff. Now, it also happens to be water resistant, and that's actually why I have my little water bottle here, my eyedropper. Let me see if I can show you that on camera. Rolls right off. I don't know if you can see that. I hope so. One time I did one of these takes, and I realized that I had gotten the entire demo like I was off camera. To do the whole thing over again. Anyway, again, it should be water resistant. My guess is the more you wash it, the more you're going to have to watch that. So every time I wash it, I would just like put a couple drops, just flick a couple drops on there and make sure that they roll off. But it should last, for the 50 washes, which is the lifetime of the mask. That should be reducing viral load, as I said, to 99, down by 99% within 2 hours. I did press them a little bit and ask if, what about a shorter period of time? Like, for example, you guys might have seen my review on the Living Guard mask, which said they have an 80% reduction in viral load in 30 minutes. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice to know how much is reduced in 30 minutes? And they said that unlike, Living Guard, they like to focus on the 99% point, whereas Living Guard's focus was really on how quickly, we get a reduction. I can see both. To be honest with you, now that I've seen one of each, I kind of think they should both have both. And maybe I'll circle back with Living Guard and ask them, well, what happens after 2 hours? The reason that Polygiene said that they were just focused on the 99% is that really that's all that matters to them. I guess this makes some sense. You could say you've got 80% of the viral load gone in 30 minutes, but if you have 20% of a viral load that's landed on this mask, that's plenty sufficient to make you very sick. So does it really matter? So that said, I wouldn't mind finding out, how quickly it reduces how much of the load, by how much, but I don't know if I'm going to find that out with them, but I do think I'll circle back with Living Guard and find out, how long until they start to approach like 99% instead of just telling us where we get to the 80% mark. I think that might be really helpful. Let me know if you guys agree. So one thing I do want to say is that this is silent on bacteria. So whereas some of the other antimicrobial masks, all of them that I've looked at, they're antiviral, antibacterial. This one is specifically antiviral. Now that doesn't mean it won't eradicate bacteria, but they're just silent on that. They're not testing it for that. That's not what it's aimed at. This is an antiviral technology. So if it's something that, if that's going to be a non-starter for you, then you'd want to look at one of the other technologies, because this is the only one I can think of that I've reviewed so far of these high-tech textiles where it's specifically aimed at viruses. Now, as for washing, they say the lifetime, like I said, is 50 washes. And they say that you should wash it about once or twice a week and that it should last 4 to 5 months. But when I read a little further, that kind of depended. So yeah, if you're going to wash it once or twice a week, that sounds great. 50 washes will get you, several months. But then, and that was on the Craft Cadence website, was different than what I had read on Polygenes. And when I spoke with the people at Polygene, they qualified their statement a little bit better. So on Craft Cadence website, they say, and again, that's the retailer, so they say that you should wash this once to twice a week if you're just kind of wearing it outdoors and in a limited way. But then they did say that if you're going to wear this more like indoors or for prolonged use, that you're going to want to wash it every day. And I thought to myself, well, that kind of offends, right? Because all these highly antimicrobial technology masks that we've seen, say about once a week, whatever, that sounds about right. And I've been saying that I don't really worry about the microbes on here if I'm just leaving it overnight, because the mask should eradicate that, right? That's why I have it. And then I should be able to put it on in the morning. That's not the case for, by the way, if you're taking it off to have lunch and putting it back on in a half an hour. You need to treat this as a biohazard. I've talked about that in other videos, so I'm not going to be too redundant, but nothing eradicates 100% of its microbial load the minute everything touches this. So if you're going to take this off and then put it back on in short order, you need to make sure that you're using proper hygiene. And it's never a bad thing to use proper hygiene when you're handling a mask anyway. But I did start to think like, wow, if Craft Cadence is telling me that, I'm going to be wearing this to work every single day and I have to wash it every single day, and I can only get 50 washes, I'm certainly not going to get 4 to 5 months out of this mask. I'm not even going to get 6 weeks. And I would definitely need more than one mask to do that. Now, having more than one mask is probably a good idea. But that really bothered me. So I did circle back with the people at Polygiene. And again, they're the ones that, make the technology. And they said that there's really no reason to think that you have to wash this every single day. It should be doing its job. It has the ViralOff. It should be good for 50 washes. I think that maybe, you'd have to wash it twice a week instead of once a week, given that it's a mask, because a mask is going on your face, whereas Polygiene makes fabrics for all different things. So if this is going on your face and you're shedding cells and things like that, that may be twice a week. But I'm going with Polygiene, and I'm just going to say that no, maybe it's not a coincidence that it's the retailer that says you have to wash it every day. I don't know. You'd have to buy the mask, many more times. But it sounds from what Polygiene is saying like you really don't need to do that, and like once or twice a week is plenty. Okay, so I was really happy with that. Now, they say to wash it in 60 degrees, so that's about 140 degrees Fahrenheit. They say to hand wash it. Detergent is optional, so I guess that's going to depend on whether you have like oily skin. I would use a little bit of mild detergent. They say to handle it gently, like be careful not to dislodge the nose piece. I've only washed mine once, so I don't have a sense of how easy it would be to do that. I kind of stayed away from the nose piece. I can't say I had any problem with this. They say to wash it for about 5 minutes, and then you can do an optional soak, which is another 5 minutes where it just sits in hot water. And it did, by the way, dry really quickly. So I was really happy with that. So yeah, let me just go ahead and show you the mask. So it's blue on the inside, black on the outside. There's no different color choices. So when it comes, it's just these 2 strings and you're supposed to tie them together, and that's your ear loop. So I did find these pretty comfortable. Like they're very, very stretchy and they're very light. They're kind of like a foam. They're round, they're not flat. Now, the fact that you have to tie these 2 together meant that I could not adjust it so that the knot, or like I've shown people before that when they have adjusters on them, I adjust it so that it's way down here so it's not on this delicate area pressing on that bone behind my ear. Well, with this, you have to tie a knot between these 2, and there's really no way to avoid having that behind your ear. That said, it really didn't bother me, although I didn't wear it for all that long. But yeah, so here's the one that I had. I've had it already tied for myself and ready to go, and I'll go ahead and put it on for you. So I do find it to be a very comfortable mask. Whoops. I will say that it has probably a nicer than average nose piece now that I've been looking at those, right? It doesn't come way out to here. That's just like a total anomaly with the Synovia. But it's larger than Living Guard's nose piece. It comes to about here, so maybe in line with my pupils, I think. You guys can see better than I can right now. It allows you to conform to the nose. It's not sufficient length to really get any curvature around your cheekbones, but honestly, I've never really looked for that before because I've just never seen it. It's definitely sufficient to get some good leverage here, okay? So I feel like it stays in place. I feel like if there's any leak, it is down here. It's a little loose on me down here, but to be honest, I kind of think that bodes well for being able to fit most adults because I don't have like a really large face. So I would be a little concerned if this thing were kind of tight on me. I will say it sits very, very nice over here behind the ears. I'm going to try to give you, it's not easy to just untie and retie these, but if I just pull them really tight, it doesn't tend to bubble up like some do. I think I've shown that in other masks where if I want to tighten the ear loops to get it to be a good fit, then I get a big gap here where this comes up. That doesn't happen. This sits really nicely next to my face, and I really like that. I will say it is a very, very lightweight mask. It's, I almost wasn't going to say that this might be one to consider if you're one of these people who feels like a little bit claustrophobic in masks. And I guess I was instinctually thinking because it's black, but you only see that it's black until it's on. And once it's on, you don't see that. It is a very, very light mask. Now, if I take a big deep breath in you'll see it sucks in a little bit, but I think that's good. Okay, I think that what that means is I'm getting a lot of air to go through the filter rather than in the areas where it might leak, because all masks have some leak. And that's one thing where it would be interesting to test what happens when you put a tighter filter in there, because I'm pretty sure, guys, that I'm going to be forcing more leak if I put a more intricate filter inside this mask. So I think that's a good sign. Some people don't like it, but it means that you're taking the mask in through that filter. And by the way, you don't walk around taking huge deep breaths like that, right? We breathe normally. As far as fogging, I felt like it was average to better than average. I feel like if I put it in here, like kind of inside the mask, I tend to get a little bit of temporary fogging. It's not bad, okay? Some masks are a lot worse when you have the glasses like kind of inside that border. But it's enough to be annoying, especially if you don't want to be touching it. And what I usually say is you either really have to tape or you can adjust. Some masks will behave better if you have the glasses just outside, and this one does. This one is fine if I have the glasses like just outside and they're sort of sitting on there. It's not airtight. It really depends on the architecture of your face, and it's going to depend on, you know, what kind of seal you get with this particular nose piece. It is a 3-layer mask, so unlike with the Synovia, which I showed last, you know, there's a little more thickness of fabric to try to get the nose piece to conform to. And so that's going to be like one of the trade-offs. You know, if you want a really thin mask, or if you want something thicker that has that polypropylene filter, I think that creates a little more bulk in here that makes it more difficult to get a precise fit for people who are going to wear safety goggles or glasses. That said, I don't think it's like difficult to solve. Like the Living Guard mask, I felt like the fogging issue is going to be very difficult to solve with glasses or safety goggles or anything but a shield, just because they tried to make that fit so nice around the chin, which it was a good idea, but what that meant is whatever small amount of leaking that you're going to have in a mask was getting forced up to the top. So I think this is a good compromise. It's a nice, it's a hybrid mask. So if you're looking for something that encompasses the high-tech fabric, but also gives you the benefit of some kind of filter like polypropylene. I know some people have said that to me, that that's, you know, what they want. They want something that will do both, will straddle both the fabric masks, filter masks, and the high-tech masks. I think that this might be an option. I mean, for me, I feel like it fits probably a little bit more comfortably than like the Living Guard, for example. But again, this one is silent on the antibacterial activity. So, you know, not that that's what most people are thinking about these days. And I would, again, with this one, this is maybe just me, I would be really careful to make sure that I kept a tally. Given that this is made with a silver technology and not something like zinc, I would want to make sure that I'm not going past those 50 washes. So I would just keep a tally on, you know, whatever bag or wherever I keep this. Okay, and every time I wash it, I would, you know, put a little tally mark and make sure that I'm done with this thing by the time I get to 50. For people who live in the United States, I think the shipping might be a little bit of a tough thing to get over here. So I would think very carefully about, you know, how many you might want. But as far as how the mask fits, how the mask feels, and how it sounds like the mask performs on paper, this was definitely one that I was really looking forward to reviewing. And I have to say, I will wear this. I'll use it. I like it. I like that it's nice and light. And yeah, so if anybody gets this, if anybody already has it, please put down in the comments section your experience with it, and anybody who's going to get it or has had any other kinds of discussions with this company, let me know what your experience was like. And it's always really helpful, I think, guys, when like for other viewers, like if you say what your experience was, like good, bad, ugly, the whole gamut. So yeah, well, let me know if this was helpful. And once again, I just want to say thank you so much. I'm just so happy with the way the channel is growing, and I'm hoping it keeps growing, of course. And until next time, be well. Bye-bye.